Everybody, how you doing? This is Royal with Paternity University. This is the Skills Make You Meals series of my YouTube channel. I'm here with Stephen Storey. He's an insurance adjuster. I mean, dude has a whole dope background. We've been acquainted at least for about what five or so years,
5 years, yeah,
something
about
like
five
that.
years, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and he currently he's a globetrotter at the moment, but he currently lives in Brazil. We're going to talk about that as well, about living abroad, especially being a black man and adjusting to that. So Stephen, man, how are you doing, man? How are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm glad to be here, Roy. I appreciate you having me on. Um, and I'm happy to share some of my experiences with your
Yeah, man.
audience.
Yeah, man, absolutely. So you know, people who may know of you already, who follow you, you're a very outspoken person when it comes to your beliefs or anything, even when
Mhm.
it comes to kind of topics that may be a little controversial. But
Yep.
have you always been kind of outspoken, or is that something that you've learned over time as you grew?
Man, I've been pretty outspoken. I've been pretty outspoken because like I always was a pretty good speaker. And so because I could speak well and communicate well, I also was able to express my full opinion, like a
Mm.
fully thought out opinion, and so that in my mind, I'm not outspoken. I have a fleshed out thought, but I just have a lot of fleshed out thoughts.
Yeah, yeah. So on that, going to your background, tell us a little bit about where you're from, you know, where you went to
Okay.
school and how you eventually got to become an insurance adjuster.
Okay. So my name is Stephen Storey, guys. I'm from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Um, I went to the University of Alabama. From there, when I was 19, I got licensed as an insurance agent. At 20, I got licensed as a real estate agent. My mom had an insurance company, my dad had a real estate company, and so um, I had those two licenses young, and then from there, we fast forward a couple of years through college, I get an eye injury. I'm already licensed in the insurance industry, and I was like, my dad was like, "Son, it's time for you to start working. You're not gonna be back. You're not gonna be in school this semester because of your eye, but you need to work." I got a friend. He's in the bail bond industry. He can get you in because you're already an insurance professional. I was like, all right, cool. And so I started doing that, and I wound up running an office for that guy, and wound up getting another one of my friends to jump out of college, and we ran that business together for a few years, and that gave me a strong base for my entrepreneurial journey. I was doing that at 21, 22 to like 20 to like 24, I think, and just like being in the trenches every day, like eating what you kill. If I didn't earn anything, I didn't get paid anything. And so the first few months, we weren't making no money. We was sleeping on air mattresses in the office. We lived in the office for 2 years. I didn't have an apartment. I lived in the office,
Yeah.
down in the basement, and it was great. It was a great time. But it instilled in me a lot of resolve, a lot of resolve. And then from there, shoot, I kind of popped around, did a few things, and I got in the insurance industry at 26. Yeah. At 26, I got into insurance adjusting because my mom, she saw her insurance company and she became an insurance adjuster. And she was like, "Son, you should do it." And I was like, "No, I ain't gonna do that. I'm gonna be a personal trainer." So for like 6 months, I'm telling her like, "I don't need to do this." And then she told me how much money she was getting paid per week.
Yeah.
It was like $2,300 a week, and I was like, "Yeah, let me
Mhm.
go ahead and do this." And I got licensed in 30 days. And fast forward a bit, I got my first job, and that was it.
Here you are. So if you remember one, man, tell me if you got a story about the bail bondsman business, man. Like dealing because you're dealing with all types of personalities, man. And I've seen you
Yo.
tweet before. I've seen you tweet, you know, and you might remember what I'm talking about some of the young brothers that you deal with that were locked
uh,
up and kind of where they came from. But if you remember any stories, man, tell
Bro, I
tell us
know. I
something.
remember all the stories. I remember
You
all the
know?
stories. All right, I ain't forgot no stories, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Um. Okay. How do I want to do this? This is a funny one. And so it was this beautiful woman. She was in jail.
Mm,
Like just insane face, insane body.
mhm.
Like she walk out. Her chest come out front. Her chest come out first, and she get out the cell, and then her butt come out the cell a little after that. You know what I'm saying? And so like she had like a $50,000 bond or something crazy. She was a bank employee and she had a sugar daddy that was one of the people that came to the bank. And she asked him for some money one day. I guess he didn't want to give it to her. And so she like transferred $10,000 out of his account into her account because she had access to his bank account because he banked at the same place that she worked at. And so she got locked up behind that. So we get her out of jail, dog. She got an all-white Cadillac Escalade.
Wow.
Okay. And she was trying to sweet talk us into not making her pay us to get her out of jail. And I was like, yo, are you serious right now? Like, we just got you out of jail for doing this. I'm not going for it.
Right.
You know? And it was just like, you really are a criminal for real.
Smooth talker though. Smooth
talker, man. She had this like little dress on. You know, like y'all can paint the picture in your head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we were young guys. We were like 22, 23. I'm 22, 23. He's like 21, 22. And so like it's like 11 o'clock at night. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
anything can happen. Man, we was like, girl, like we are professionals. I'm not going. I'm not going for this.
You're not going for it.
Nah, man. And then we had some other ones. We had one situation. It was like some Jerry Springer stuff. Like most of my time in Bell was like literally like an episode of Jerry Springer. Like, so one time there was a family, and all right, so I gotta keep up with this. So it went like this: the husband, the ex-wife, the fiance, and the brother of the fiance, and the daughter of the ex-wife and the husband all went to jail.
What?
Okay.
For what?
All go to jail at the same time. And so it went like this. Nobody had the money to get everybody out. Everybody had the money to get another person out. So everybody had to sign each other bonds. And so it went like the brother gets out of jail. He gets his sister out of jail. Then the sister gets her mom out of jail. The mom gets the fiance of her ex-husband out of jail. And then the fiance gets the ex-husband. No, however it went, I missed one person, but they all got each other out of jail.
Chain reaction kind of thing going.
Right. But the fiance is the same age as his daughter. They're both 19.
What?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, it was crazy, man.
It
was crazy. And so like they were just telling me this, they were telling me this story. They said they had this like wall of fame and they got all their mugshots in the house on the wall next to each other. And so one day they had what they do? So it was the husband and the fiance. They were running from the cops one day and they like cut off on a dirt road and they started playing chicken with the cops on the dirt road. And so they like in the dirt, because of the dirt road, cops can't see, and they jump out the car and hide in a hunting stand all night long, and they get away from the cops, bro. The cops came back and got them. That's why everybody went to jail.
So you 22 dealing with all this, and you just like, this is not, you know what I'm saying, how I was raised. Obviously, this is not how I want to be. Yeah.
Nah, man, it was a crucible, man. It was a crucible of personalities and like learning how to like be extremely firm when you need to be, how to really give respect to people. You know, I was in jail every day. I'm going to jail every day, 3 times a day. I'm in jail for like an hour at a time. And so like, that's as real as it get. You know what I'm saying? So you can't just be like some happy-go-lucky college kid, like, hey, what's up, guys? Hey, you got to be serious as a heart attack.
Yeah.
You know, because you're dealing with murderers. You know, you're dealing with drug dealers. You know, real criminals. Like, it ain't like, I'm telling you the fun stuff, but like that helped me. It gave me a strong backbone for the next phase of life. You know, and so like for y'all that's listening, I'm not saying go be a bell bondsman, but you're gonna see a theme of skill stacking throughout this podcast as we talk about. It's like there's so many things I learned and I've applied, and I apply them day to day that I learned in various situations that I've been in.
Yeah, facts. So let's talk about failure and pivoting, because like you said, you were dead set on becoming a personal trainer, and right. I remember, you know, when I first kind of spoke to you on the phone, 2017, 18 timeframe.
Yeah, and
I remember you saying, "Hey, I'm gonna come out with a course for personal fitness," and right. I think you pivoted from that once you saw the need for insurance. Well, let's talk about dealing with that, man, as a man. Failure and pivoting and realizing when you need to go ahead and make a change.
Yeah, man. So here's the thing, like, because I've tried a lot of things, I've learned that what's important is the result. It's not so important as whether success or failure. I want a result. And so as I'm looking for my result, I'm like, okay, this is a result. All right. I'm learning to become indifferent to like a failure. Cause like, for example, my fitness course, it didn't do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I might have had 40 or 50 customers total in a year, but it gave me the blueprint to sell on Gumroad. It gave me the blueprint to have an email list and how to have automatic emails and so on and so forth for product delivery. I wouldn't have got that. I would have been overwhelmed if I had made the second course, the insurance courses. I'd have been overwhelmed if I had never done that before. And so even though I didn't have a lot of success, I got a lot of experience.
Mm.
They were able to pay off. And there's another thing I want to say about pivoting. You cannot pivot standing still. You can only pivot if you're moving, right? So that's another key to pivoting. Like, we only pivot because we're moving. So like, I was able to pivot because I got to a new point. And so you can't be scared to get a little further down the road and see where you need to turn right or left or maybe go back. Yeah. But you can't see down the road if you're staying in the same place.
Facts. So what is an insurance adjuster? Going back to that, is that insurance sales or is that something different?
Okay, so independent insurance adjusting is not sales. Okay, it's not sales related. So what we call the retail side of insurance is what most people see: life insurance salesman, health insurance salesman, car insurance salesman, so on and so forth. That's what we're used to seeing. But what I like to call insurance adjusting is it's the working, moving parts of insurance. When somebody hits your house catches on fire, somebody steals something from you, your house gets vandalized, you're going to call the insurance company and say, hey, I need to file a claim. The person you're talking to at that point is an adjuster. They're going to be taking all your information. They're going to be taking all your photos, seeing all the data that you have, the damage you might have. They're going to look at your policy, and they're going to be making a claims decision based around that. So that's what adjusters are, and that's what we do. And when insurance carriers get overwhelmed, they call independent adjusters up, and they say, hey, look, we need 300 adjusters handling auto claims because if we don't get this done in a certain amount of time, we're going to get fined by the Department of State. Department of Insurance for that state or those states. And so because of that, it's cheaper to hire insurance adjusters, independent adjusters specifically, than it is to pay a fine on each claim that's late, late to being handled. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. So, and it's also, and correct me if I'm wrong, it also may be cheaper to hire the independent contract. What you're saying, independent insurance adjusters are contractors essentially, correct, as opposed to training up what is called a staff adjuster and then hiring W2 people within. So yeah, also talk about that, the independent versus the person working for State Farm or Geico or whatever. What's the difference?
Right. So with independent adjusters, the difference is one, we work at will. So we can work at will and we get fired at will, right? Hey, look, thank you, Royal, for the work. You did great. We don't need you anymore. And that's it. Mm-hmm. You don't get any benefits, right? But you get paid way more, right? You get paid way more than a staff adjuster, like 2, maybe 3 times more, depending. Now, staff adjusters, they get way more leniency. So they're not, staff adjusters anybody can get fired. But staff adjusters, they got a full-time job. And that's it. They're gonna work year-round. They don't have to worry about job security. They don't have to be looking over their shoulder all the time. And they get, they obviously get benefits, like I said, but they don't make as much money.
Okay. So kind of the stability, versus, you're making more money, but you don't have as many benefits, or you don't have any benefits. But it just depends on the lifestyle that you want, I guess, when it comes to that. Right.
And also independent adjusters can work for several different companies, and it's, like I can go work for Allstate. I can go work for State Farm after that. I can go work for Progressive, back to back to back. If I'm a staff adjuster, I'm usually working for one company only.
Got you.
For a period of time,
Got you. So I see the IA gang, man. The IA gang is huge on Twitter, dude. Every other day, somebody follows me, or I follow somebody that's an IA or whatever. So what are you hinted at it at the beginning when you introduced insurance adjusting, but what are the different types of fields that an adjuster can go into, right? Like auto, property?
Oh man, You got so many niches in this industry, man,
Okay.
because so many things are insured. Everything that's insured has an adjuster on
Mm.
it, right? So like you got cell phone insurance, you got pet insurance, you got automobile insurance, airplanes, tractor trailers, regular cars,
Mm.
luxury vehicles, antique, like that's just on the auto side. I mean, just on the motor vehicle side of things.
Mm.
Then you have things like property insurance, right? This is residential property. You can deal with trailers if you want to. You can do straight up RVs if you want to. You can do commercial property, dealing with like large buildings, churches, things like that. We have so many options, and then you have double those options because you have inside and field. So you can work from a desk in an office or remote at home. And then you have people who go out and inspect those things as well. Everything I just said. So it's a lot of options, a lot of room for a lot of different people to get in and get in where they fit in.
So this, is essentially recession proof. It ain't going nowhere because shit gonna get burnt down, or people gonna get in car accidents, or
it don't stop.
Jewelry gonna get stolen. It ain't going nowhere, right? Like,
yeah, it don't stop, bro. Like house fires don't stop because the economy got bad. Car wrecks don't stop because the economy got bad. Like hurricanes don't stop because a recession came. Like you got to have insurance. The insurance industry didn't stop during the Depression, didn't stop during the 2008 recession, and it's not going to stop now. It didn't stop during the pandemic at all. As a matter of fact, we hired more people during the pandemic, and they're looking for more people to hire now.
So how does somebody become an insurance adjuster? Is it just a license they can get that covers the whole United States, or do they have to go kind of state by state to get their license? So how does that work?
All right. So first things first, there's 34 states that require a license. There's 16 states that don't. The 16 states that don't, you're going to pick Florida or Texas or Indiana to have a designated home state license. From there, you'll take a test from those 3 states, Indiana, Texas, or Florida, for those people whose state does not require a license. For those 34 states that do require a license, you'll just take your home state's license. From there, once you get your first license, you can begin purchasing licenses. You don't have to study. Only other states you have to study for are Hawaii, California, or New York, if those are not your resident states.
Okay, got you. So you can. Okay, I was gonna ask, like, are they kind of like reciprocal? But if you could just purchase,
they're all reciprocal.
Okay.
They're also reciprocal. I recommend my students get about 5 licenses. I usually want them to get 5 licenses, and then from there, the insurance carriers like State Farm, Allstate, Progressive, they can tell you what other licenses they want you to have.
Okay, so you have the licenses to practice insurance adjusting, and then you have different like licenses or skill sets within the industry. I've seen people talk like exactimate, how you pronounce it, and
exactimate. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so you can get those too.
Yeah, and those are going to be carrier specific. So you might have Estimatics. That's a State Farm specific certification. You have FedNet has company specific certifications. Exactament is an industry specific certification, but we also use Symbility. Symbility doesn't have a certification. So these are Exactament and Symbility are estimating softwares for property claims. So depending on where you're going to work at is going to depend on what certifications you need.
Okay. Because I was going to ask, like, do you be collecting these licenses like Thanos or something like that, man? And
no, bro, you don't want to do that.
Okay.
You don't want to do that, man. So licenses cost money, and they cost money to renew. So once you get over about 8 or 9 licenses, you could be spending, $1,000 at a time renewing your licenses. $1,000 in 1 month, depending on the month, it can get kind of steep. So you don't want to be walking around with 20 or 30 licenses, because you might be spending $2,000 or $3,000 just on continuing education, getting your license renewed, so on and so forth. So I like to keep it light, and I'll let certain licenses expire, renew them at times, get other licenses, just depending on what the insurance carriers need.
Okay. So I see people talk about like going from auto to property and some of the different lifestyle or the work environments of either. What is cat season? Because I keep seeing people talk about, it's cat season coming up. What does that mean?
Catastrophe season. That means June 1st is the start of hurricane season in North America. specifically United States and Mexico in the Caribbean. And from June 1st until like Thanksgiving, we're on alert, and really it's going to really crank up in August. And so what you usually see in August is you'll see a major hurricane. You also see the California wildfire start at the same time. So that's what we mean by catastrophe season. So it's two types of catastrophes that usually happen at the same time: wildfires and hurricanes.
Speaking of which, when I first, came across the whole IA world, people was like, yeah, I'm going on a deployment. I'm like, bruh, I'm military. So deployment means different.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, y'all going to Iraq? Y'all going to Afghanistan?
Right.
Like, what's going on? Like, no. It's explain what a deployment means. And can you go on a deployment and still work from home?
Yes. So deployment is just industry speak for a job assignment.
Okay.
When we say deploy, we mean like, hey, we're deploying people to Atlanta, Georgia, because that's where the carrier headquarters are, or that's where the headquarters are for IAs, where they want the IAs to work. Or like, for example, Hurricane Harvey, when they said like, hey, we're deploying you to Houston, right? We went to Houston, but in short, deployment is just industry speak for, hey, we got a contract for you. We got a job assignment for them. We got a job for you. And it's going to be at this location. That location might be at home. It might be in an office. You might be working in the field if you want to work as an outside field adjuster. That all just depends on the type of deployment it is, type of assignment, type of job it is, type of contract it is.
Yeah. So if you're in the field, you out there inspecting roofs and fences or whatever it may be, you know what I'm saying, especially for property, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So
You've done that.
I've done a few field assignments. I've done like 4 or 5 field deployment.
Okay. Well, I mean, I've seen people, that, oh yeah, I want to do the field work, or I don't mind working from home because it's better for my life. It just is that what it is? Like, what is there one that's better than the other for your career, or is literally just what you want, what works for you?
Well, I think it's really more about your career strategy, right? Like for me, I wanted to be a very good property adjuster. And I knew that if I worked in the field, I would be a better desk adjuster. And I know if I worked in the desk, I'd be a better field adjuster. And so I wanted to be better all around in general. And so for me, it wasn't about lifestyle or even the money. I knew I was going to do well in either one, but it was really more like, if I get on a bunch of roofs, when it's time for me to start just looking at roofs and photos, I'll know why that roof is messed up because I was there on the ground,
Gotcha.
boots on the roof. I was there, but I think that for other people, it's about their lifestyle, or they might have income goals. I got some students, they did field because, hey, it's easier to get hired. There's a lot more opportunity, and you don't have to deal with all this corporate mumbo jumbo stuff. You're running solo every day. You meet with your manager once or twice a month, maybe once or twice a week, just depending on the type of deployment you got. And so they like that type of freedom. So they work field.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I've seen a couple of people talk about like drones and stuff like that. Is that a big thing in the insurance? My thought process is you get a drone license to, FAA, was it FAA 107 drone license or whatever, and then you go fly the drones around the properties and take pictures or do whatever. Is that a consistent, constant thing in the insurance adjusting industry, or is this kind of like a brand new thing?
It's been around for a few years now, at least 6 years.
Okay.
I don't see it replacing people getting on roofs because drones can't lift shingles up.
True.
True. And also, a lot of insurance carriers still don't rely on drones exclusively. They might use it as an add-on to get different, pictures of property that's very difficult to inspect. But for most people, if you want to go in the field, just go in the field and inspect the regular way. But I'm not discouraging anybody from getting a drone pilot license. Go for it. If you're interested in it, go for it. Do it. There's people doing well with it. But it's still a relatively underutilized tool in the insurance industry.
Got you. So do you have to have a college degree in construction science management with a 4.0 to get into this industry, man? Like, what's the requirements, man?
Nah, man, you got to be 18 years old.
Okay.
Yeah. Every state has different rules about the felonies. So if you have a felony or misdemeanor or something like that, contact your Department of Insurance for your state to make sure you qualify. You got to have at least a high school diploma or a GED. And you got to be able to pass a background check. If you can do that, it could be an insurance adjuster.
Yeah, that sounds like if you got a heartbeat and you can study and study for your doggone your joint, you'd be good to go.
Yeah, that's basically it. Yeah. It ain't no cakewalk. That's the easy part. The work is the hard part.
That makes sense. So what's the youngest person you've seen make some bread since you started your course? Like, I know because some of these cats be posting $2,000 a week, $1,500 a week, $1,800 a week, $3,000 a week. Who's the youngest person have you seen make some bread in this industry?
I've seen a few 18-year-olds. I got a few 18-year-olds that's balling. I got a few, like probably closer to 10 that are doing very well.
Damn.
Yeah. They right. Like I got a 19-year-old. She's a manager already. Yeah.
I think I follow her on Twitter. Yeah. I know you're talking about.
Yeah,
man. 19 and I bruh, you know what? If I was making $2,000 a week at 19, I wouldn't even be here right now,
bro.
With no mentorship, no guidance.
Look, man. The thing is, I got in at 26, and I thought I got in late. I thought I was late to the party, and I was the youngest person in the room back then. And I only heard of a couple 18, 19-year-olds doing it back then when I was 26. So,
yeah.
My hats off to all my students who listen. And those of y'all who are listening right now, it's for real. This is for real. Like, we got hundreds of testimonials now, but I think that for me, it's more about what can they do with these opportunities and, what can they do over the next, several years. You're making $100,000 a year at 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. What does it look like for your investment portfolio? What does it look like for, your credit, your business acumen, or just your net worth, or your ability to provide for a family, or travel, or do whatever,
How much money have all of your students? How much do you think all of your students have made since getting into your course, into the insurance?
Since November 2020, I would probably like 6 or 7 mil between all of them, and that's between probably closer to 200 people that are working. Some of them are working 8-9 months already. Some of them are working 12 months. Some of them are working since like January 2021. So this depends, but like it's only gonna keep going up as they keep working and new students get hired. When this cat season comes, they're all gonna make a ton of money.
I'll say this, and I'll close in a second, man. And then I'll have you definitely plug your information. There was a brother. Why did I forget his name? My gosh. Book named Black Titan. Brother was from Alabama too.
A.G. Gasson.
Yeah. A.G. Gasson, right? I finished his book a few months ago. I forgot the brother's name. So this man created a school, like a technical school, for young Black aspiring professionals and people who just needed skills, man.
Right.
I think he based it out of Birmingham. Taught people how to type, how to work in the, because he had a vertically integrated company, enterprise, essentially. He created this skills-based school, man. And so that's the dope thing is what you're doing is similar to that, in my opinion. You know what I mean? You've created something like that.
The thing is, and I was talking to some people about this other day, yesterday, as a matter of fact, I was listening to John Johnson. He was narrating his autobiography, and he said that I'm in the top 400 most richest Americans. At that time, he was in the top 400, and he owned an insurance company. He owned controlling shares in Supreme Insurance, and he owned Ebony and Jet, and so on and so forth. We already have a blueprint. This ain't new. Black wealth, Black success, and this is what he said. He said, we've integrated everything else. We have not integrated the money yet. And so that is our fight at this time. We have to integrate the money. We've integrated the schools, we've integrated sports, so on and so forth, entertainment, blah, blah, blah. now it's time to integrate the money. And that's something he was talking about in the 80s. And so that's still part of our fight now in the 2020s, bro, 40 years later, you know? And so I think that's something that, you know, you're doing, I'm doing, we got a bunch of other friends as creators is out here doing the same things, but we have to continue that fight because what you learn in an average life is not going to get you to where we need to go.
Yeah.
You know, on this wealth train, you know?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I agree. So that's a lot of game right there. Yeah, integrated everything else, but not the money. So go ahead and tell us where people can find this course that teaches them how to get started in the insurance adjusting agency, man. I'm sorry, insurance adjusting world.
Yeah, for sure. So, guys, my name is Stephen Storey, STPHENSTREY. You can find me on Twitter there. From there, just click the link in my bio. It's going to take you to all other social media channels I got. It's also going to take you straight to my free webinar. I got a free PDF, just frequently asked questions, and my course. So it's a lot of free stuff I got there for y'all. You don't have to buy from me in the beginning, right off the top. Go in. You can get more questions answered before you take that plunge. I don't have an expensive course. It's $97. You know, if you're ready to make a change, if you're ready to have something in your back pocket in case, you know, layoffs come or, you know, hurricane season's coming, you go, hey, I want to pick up an extra $60,000 before the year's over. But come on, get the course. And let's, you know, learn and earn.
That's game. Well, look, I done told Stephen off camera, but I was like, look, I'm in the Army now, okay? And whenever I transition out of the Army, and I still want to keep that same income that I'm making now and keep it going to provide for my family, trust me, because skills pay the bills, skills also make you meals. No shit. Like, this is a needed skill that will never go away, no matter the economy. Never.
Yeah, exactly. As long as we have interest, we don't have interest.
Never. So thank you, Stephen, for coming on, man. I appreciate it, bro. I'm going to post all your stuff in the show notes. Hey, y'all, look, if you like this episode, go ahead and like and subscribe. Share it too, man. Share it to somebody who may not want to go to college. No, everybody don't want to go to college. That's fine. That's okay. Share this episode. Let them know the insurance adjusting world, in my opinion, Stephen, ain't the sexiest thing on the planet. No. It ain't no tech stuff. It ain't, you know, whatever. It ain't sexy tech sales or whatever. Or it ain't Google, whatever. But it's needed. It's needed. And so for the young folks out there, even folks out there who are in their mid 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever, who want to learn something new and feel stuck, this is something right here for you, man. Seriously. And it's at an affordable price, and you can learn a skill that can pay you multiple hundreds of thousands of times over. So thank you, Stephen. I appreciate it, man. And until next time we talk, bro. Thank you.
Thanks. Appreciate y'all.
All right. Peace, man.